This is a story about a guy named Corin Locke who participates in a role-playing game, where the thoughts and actions of each character, whether they are the main player or a supporting character, can affect the entire plot. It begins one morning, when the sun is high, and rays of sunlight shine through the window, waking the young man. He sits up and ponders, as if thinking about something. Suddenly, he is startled when he looks out the window. What he sees is not the house he is living in. Although he doesn't understand what's happening, the scene seems familiar, and after a while, he realizes. That castle, could it be that he is in the game he was playing earlier? Corin starts to panic and recalls what happened while he was playing the game. We can rewind a bit, to events that occurred 3 years ago, when he owned a role-playing game called The Legend of Arhan's Heroes. At that time, this genre was very popular and loved by many young people. The Legend of Arhan's Heroes is about an academy where countless dangerous events occur. The confrontation between players as wizards, fighters, and formidable monster bosses is ongoing. Eventually, the apocalypse of the world in the game comes, when humans all turn into zombies and are controlled by some force behind them. The story is not over yet and continues with unpredictable twists and turns. At that time, Corin also bought a copy and played it. When he saw the scenes of death, or hordes of zombies attacking humans, he felt normal. Oh, he doesn't have to worry about these things, because the main character in the story will appear and solve everything. He is just added for the sake of it, as a supporting character to make the game more lively. He, Corin, level 1, only plays the role of an NPC in the task for beginners, where the main character will save all the villagers. In other words, the NPC is the role of the masses in it, roughly like that. If at that time it continued as per the storyline, everything would be resolved. The main character would kill the boss, complete the mission, and end the game. But no, since he started the game, it has been wrong, but because he was just amazed by the graphics in the game that looked so real, they were very vivid. Then he was excited to find the main character. At that time, Park Seo-hoo was the main player in this game. He would soon become famous and rich. While he was walking around looking for the starting place, he saw a man in black sitting nearby, and his mouth kept mumbling something strange, something about sweet potatoes, and Sprite or something. He didn't understand anything. He turned to look at him and was puzzled. Sprite? There's no such thing in this game. What the hell is this guy talking about? Who is he and why is he dressed so fancy? At this point, the man in black still didn't notice the presence of his friend next to him. He kept mumbling, then stood up and told himself that he had to live for himself. At this point, Corin recognized who he was. He was so happy that he ran to shake hands as if he was meeting an idol in real life, shaking hands with a happy face. Hello, I'm the same. The guy in black was stunned. He didn't know who this long-haired guy was. He just ran out to shake hands and talk nonsense. He couldn't blame him, because perhaps Corin was too happy to know that Seo-hoo turned out to be like him, also a player owning this role-playing game. Only the difference between the two of them at this time is the role in the game. Seo-hoo is given the privilege of a role-playing player, which is to own a stat window. But there was a problem. He had never played this game before, so the first time he looked at the stats window, he was very confused and didn't know what to do with them. No worries, I will make up for that for him. At that time, I put my arm around my brother and started to show him, hey, you said you would become a wizard, right? Then you have to upgrade your wisdom stats, and there will be skill books in the next chapter, which is very important, so don't forget. I have played all the chapters and know all the ins and outs of this game, so you can trust me. I am an expert in this legendary hero game of Arhan. Having me as a strategist is a blessing for 3 generations of your family, you know. Corin boasted that he was very good at this game, so he wanted to join the team with Seo-hoo, but the way he advertised himself was a bit over the top. But just after praising himself for a few sentences, there was a monster running towards him from behind. It looked like a giant dog full of muscles, with sharp teeth and a pair of red eyes. Seo-hoo warned, watch out, behind you, quickly move aside. Then he pushed Corin back and quickly stepped forward, raising his magic wand to create a magic effect to block the monster's attack. Just one move, Seo-hoo had defeated the monster. He even turned around to ask, hey, are you okay? Thanks to that monster, the two of them got to know each other and joined the same team. They coordinated very well. Because Corin has all the information about this game. And Seo-hoo has the stats window and information about the player system. So when they go together, they are the perfect couple. Corin is sure that with Seo-hoo by his side, they will complement each other very well. Those monsters will no longer be a big problem. They will be able to save many people, and prevent the apocalypse, then return to their world soon. He thought so, and he was not wrong, because since they went together, Corin's spear and Seo-hoo's magic have almost swept all the small monsters. Seeing his companion also struggling all day, Sihu gave him a bottle of medicine, and told him to drink it. Korin was delighted. "Oh, where did you get this? The bottle looks nice too, it looks like an energy recovery potion." So he didn't hesitate to bring it to his mouth and drank it all in one gulp. This thing tasted a bit strange, but it wasn't bad. In general, when playing with him, Korin felt very happy. If there was anything that disappointed him, it was that there were only men here. It was so annoying. The whole team didn't have a single woman, all were men. Everyone knows, the attraction of this game is that it includes fantasy elements, along with diverse hero stories and virtual dating with female characters. Occasionally, players should also have the feeling of love, emotions make life diverse. But his team was so boring, Sihu didn't contact any women, he just added them to the team when necessary. And then somehow, in the end, the whole team was just men together. He had to ask for the truth, "Hey, why is our team all men?" But when he heard that, he ignored it and didn't answer, just saying that he accidentally chose all men. At that time, I didn't suspect anything, but in the end, after going through everything, I blamed myself. I should have realized this anomaly sooner, when one by one the female players all encountered mysterious accidents. First, the granddaughter of the Sword Emperor died on the way to the memorial ceremony. Then the final boss of the first checkpoint, Mariette Dunolev, suddenly disappeared. In addition, there were many mysterious deaths and disappearances, things that were not in the original plot of the game. And more importantly, it was Sihu's way of thinking. His character, I mean his real character, not the kind character that people usually see through his kind exterior, he's scarier than we thought. I should have doubted him a bit, but at that time I was foolish enough to believe everything he said, thinking he was a true hero player. The story is that one day, I accidentally stumbled upon a place and discovered a shocking secret. What is this? Dunolev is a female hero of this game, but according to Sihu's story, she disappeared for unknown reasons, but in front of me that day was the hidden artifact, Dunolev's magic wand. Her wand was hidden here. I would never have known this, but due to bad luck, that day I found this place, because I noticed that the damn Sihu sneaked somewhere alone every night, so I followed him here. I couldn't believe that there was such a place underground. It's as if this is his secret warehouse. This place is very wide, from outside to inside. I don't know how many glass boxes there are, containing many strange weapons. Wait a minute, why is this here? It is the hidden artifact Odachi. It is also the object that was lost when another female hero disappeared. She is Alicia. Not only these things, but also a lot of other things, like Jaeger's rare hammer. Then comes Lark's rare magic book. Oh my god, these are all objects of characters who disappeared during our gameplay. But those things are nothing. The thing I encountered last is terrifying. I dared not believe my eyes anymore. In front of me at that time was a girl who was tied up with iron chains and hung in a glass cage. Why does her face look familiar? Oh no, that's Mariette Dunolev. When I recognized her, I stood agape as if planted by the sky. Then Sihu walked in from behind. He saw me and knew he had been exposed. Then he asked me in a dangerous voice, "Why are you here?" I was furious and asked for an explanation. "What's going on here? You said before that you were chasing Dunolev and lost track of her. Why is she here now and in this state?" I asked hurriedly, but he seemed to be not bothered at all. "Oh that, anyway, she is a demon. Do you want to waste the blood of a high-level vampire? I'm just using it properly. I bleed her every day, because if I don't do it, someone else will. Why are you worrying about it? Besides, you've already drunk a bit, and even praised it." At this point I remembered that afternoon, when he gave me a bottle that looked like a recovery potion. I drank it without thinking much. Now knowing that it was Dunolev's blood, I wish I could vomit it all out. I can't accept it. Sihu, that cold-blooded guy, stood looking at me like a fool and even asked me why I was vomiting like that. "You'll get used to it if you drink it often." Moreover, he had worked hard to create this place. He had captured her and built this room in a month. I don't care how hard he worked, I just want to know why. Why did he do that? That pervert seemed very casual. He said doing so was to complete the storyline more effectively. He even criticized my play as stupid and extremely tiring. You spend all day saving people and then losing. Why don't you just kill guys like Lark and Jaeger? Always go to protect those we can't control. Even if you raise the goodwill points with them, you won't get much benefit. Instead, you should use them like this. It would be much more effective. Listen carefully. I'm much better at this game than you. Don't think you're the only one who knows how to play. When it comes to tricks, you still have to carry my shoes. After hearing that, I wanted to faint. So from the beginning he lied. This bastard is not a newbie as I thought. I also know that I can't stop him anymore. I just want to know how many times he has done this. Because he has killed so many people that he can't count on his fingers anymore. After thinking for a while, Sihu told me that if he killed 3 more lives, it would be 100,000 times. Oh my god, this bastard, he's no longer human. I was furious, stood up, grabbed his collar and cursed him as a monster, but still that face, he still thinks he's right and even tells me to wake up. Those who he killed are just supporting characters, not important, and you've also killed a few guys, your hands are not cleaner than mine. You shut up, you bastard, the ones I killed are just monstrous monsters that are incurable, they try to destroy the world. What is an effective way? You are just justifying your evil nature, you disappoint me. Assume you do this to be effective, so why do you take Odachi? You are a wizard, what do you take a piece of a knight for, and the matter of a few potions, using a few normal potions is not a problem. You can easily create it through the character window, but you use other people's blood to make medicine. What did you create this creepy place for? At that time I lost my temper to the point of wanting to kill Sihu immediately, but he just stood there and even laughed in my face. You're really stupid, you need a brainwashing for your disastrous tendency to balance society, Korin. As he spoke, he hypnotized me, making me unconsciously stop. Then he pushed me away. The strength of this bastard is much stronger than me. So I fell and hit my head on the glass pillar right behind and was dizzy. He started to preach that you made me go crazy, after all I did for you, then don't talk to me in that voice. All I think about is you should also see me as your life, I am your world, so you don't know your place, just like to poke your nose into other people's business, all you care about is those whores. Sihu seemed to go crazy, his face was very angry as if he was painfully betrayed by others. Korin, his face covered in blood, didn't understand anything after hearing him speak. What does he mean by our life's purpose, our world? Does he hate those female characters that much? What's wrong with him, or is it because I hit my head and I'm hallucinating? Are you crazy? You're not that type of character. We've been together through 199 chapters, why suddenly change the genre of the story like this? Sihu said a few sentences that made people shiver. I've removed all obstacles so far, just for our future. At this point, I was taken aback and understood the only reason his entire team was full of men was because of his preference. He also admitted that he likes men. The only person I love is you, you know. Anyone would like to be confessed to, but this way of confessing, with this person, this truth is too disgusting, so I couldn't stand it anymore, and rushed to punch him in the face. Shut up, you perverted freak, you scare me to death, I don't even have a girlfriend yet and you're talking about love with me, I need to get out of here quickly. I ran as fast as I could to escape from that cold-blooded pervert, but it seemed like he wouldn't let me go that easily. He used a magic rope to tie my legs, I couldn't lift my feet anymore. And not just my legs, the magic ropes chased after me, surrounded and tied me up. So I was caught. No way, he tightened me so much that I couldn't breathe, nor resist. He came to stand in front of me and advised me to behave. You can't escape from me, I will bind you forever. You are mine, you can't be anyone else's, you can't even think about anyone else. In this fake world, you are the only real thing, so I would appreciate it if you could reciprocate my feelings, stay here, don't think about running away or resisting anymore. I've never been so terrified, I don't know what he's going to do to me. The bastard tied me tighter and said everything would end soon. Once it's over, we'll be together forever, no one has the right to separate us. Sihu's magic has stuck me here, my body is frozen, I can't move anymore, so this was his perverted plan all along. Now the final chapter of the game has opened, the final boss has appeared, he has always acted on his own, so the final boss shouldn't be a problem for him. But what I'm most worried about right now is what will happen to me once he finishes off the boss. I don't want to lose my life to that bastard, or should I just die? Korin was lying down crying in fear, utterly confused. Then I don't know if it's lucky or unlucky, the window scoreboard announced that the main player had died, the mission failed. That bastard lost, thank goodness I wasn't eaten by him, but who will save me? Someone please save me. Then in the blink of an eye, Korin returned to his familiar room, the wind blew in the window, the sun was up. He opened his eyes, panting in fear, and still in shock from what had happened in that role-playing game. Luckily when the main character is killed, the supporting characters will also escape from the game. He sat up, bowed his head and thought, even though I've played this game so many times, but I've never felt like this before, the feeling of being trapped in there when I'm desperate and can't do anything. The boy looked up at the castle through the window and I regretted, 3 years ago, when I first came here, I should have done something. As he thought, Korin looked at his hand. Then he clenched his hand and trembled as if he was extremely angry. Yes, I should have killed that bastard. Sihu, you dead dog, I should have killed that player in the egg. Then he remembered the previous events. When they role-played in that game, in the event of the Radion River dam breaking, the mission was to capture the river monster, and suddenly the dam broke, sweeping away an entire village. Thousands of water monsters and thousands of innocent people drowned. such a horrifying scene, and Suhu was laughing happily. Haha, it's wonderful, Mr. Sunday. At that time I didn't understand why that bastard was so happy. Now thinking back, I was horrified to realize he was evil from the start. Even though dozens of people died, the only thing he cared about was the experience it gave him. I should have detected his instability. That damned demon, from the beginning until now, is about to kill 100,000 lives. No, I have to go back into the game, at the time 3 years ago, to prevent him from becoming a ruthless killer. Because at that time, he was only at level 5 like me, he had not gone through training. Everyone knows that all the factors that make players stronger are in the Merkaba Academy. So after entering the academy, Suhu has become much stronger. Korin took on the task in the past himself. At this time that bastard is not yet a monster, but still can't know how his development speed will be after entering the academy, because the entrance ceremony will take place in 5 more days. So he infiltrated the place where the task would appear to meet Suhu. It was in a dense forest, where many brightly yellow mushrooms grow. Korin picked a bunch. It seems that these mushrooms will be needed at some point. Time is running out. If that guy has a chance to get through this screen, many people will die because of him. Right now Suhu is doing a task. Korin decided to join this hidden task to find him. The guide says, the transport on the way to Merkaba City was intercepted by a monster in the forest. Protect everyone and the guard until it is repaired. The night covers everywhere. The moon has also risen high, shining down on the forest. There, Suhu is carrying out a task to kill monsters with a girl. A small monster died under his sword. The two are talking happily. He sighed with relief because it was finally over, and the girl squinted her eyes to praise the talent of the young boy. At this time looking at him is quite naive. Just a compliment from a senior is enough to make him happy, but don't know if it's really naive or not. Luckily at that time, the car was repaired. A person ran out quickly calling the whole team to get on the car to a safe place. Sir Leon, Lady Laura, the car is repaired. Thought the task was over. Everyone was lining up to get on the bus, chatting. It was a tiring night. I want to go to sleep immediately. I'm tired. But from afar there is something growling that makes Leon and Laura startle. It's not a monster appearing but a very large tree trunk rushing very fast as if someone threw it at them. Leon quickly pushed Laura aside. Get out of the way. The huge tree trunk plunged straight into the ground. Imagine at that time if Leon didn't save the girl in time, she would probably have died. The growl in the forest is getting louder. It seems they have realized. These screams are from werewolves. They are level 2 monsters, with sharp claws and extremely strong bite force, along with terrifying speed. Korin ran all day, finally got to their place, but it seemed to be later than he expected. Damn, it has started already. I tried to run at full speed but still couldn't stop him. If only I had time to prepare, then I could save them. The monster rushed to Laura and raised its claws to scratch her. Laura died instantly. Seeing the situation is not good, Leon told Suhu to get on the car quickly. He will delay and try to prevent the monster from chasing the convoy. After saying that, Leon turned back to fight the werewolf, but Suhu didn't want to go, but told everyone to go ahead. He will follow later. He wants to stay and fight the werewolf with Leon. Everyone on the car is very worried because they can't just leave Leon behind like that. They will not be the opponent of that monster. Even so, the car started to run. People were going far away. At this time Suhu turned back intending to help Leon but saw the monster had strangled him. Before dying, Leon only managed to say 2 words: run away. Now only Suhu is left. Korin intended to jump out to act, but suddenly stopped for a few seconds to think carefully. Standing behind the bushes in the distance, he muttered to himself, I have to confirm before intervening. The swordsman standing in front of that werewolf is a Suhu, a hero who will save the world, or just a player like me, and later became a pervert. Korin wanted to observe his every expression carefully. From a trembling boy, holding the sword loosely, in just a moment, his eyes turned red, along with a cruel smile and provoking the monster, you're quite big, aren't you? Even the monster didn't like that face, so it opened its mouth intending to bite the prey's head and take it back to feast with the pack tonight. But before it could do anything, a long-haired girl appeared from nowhere, wielding a powerful sword. She yelled at Suhu to duck down. Her sword stabbed straight into the werewolf's neck, but it was also very fast, using its claws to block, as if it could predict where the enemy would attack. Could it block it? Seeing this, the girl quickly withdrew her sword to dodge and defend. Clearly, Suhu could kill that monster, because his face looked very confident earlier, but now he stood behind her as if he needed protection, also a way to save energy while still benefiting. Quickly back off, I'll handle this. The kind-hearted girl didn't want him to be killed by the monster, so she stepped in to help. This brave girl is none other than Alicia, the second daughter of the Arden family, who holds the Odachi sword, one of the 6 king swords in the world. She is the most influential factor in the team and is a well-known character. Sihu backed away, saying he was scared but secretly took out a small knife. At this point, he was talking nonsense, making Alicia not understand anything. I've been waiting for this moment. As he spoke, the bastard's eyes turned red again. Surely there was a spell on his knife. Unexpectedly, he cut the girl, causing her to bleed. Why did he do that? Korin gritted his teeth in anger because that evil man had been cunning and had bad intentions from the start. He is not a hero at all, but a perverted Sihu. Just being sneak attacked from behind, Alicia was shocked and asked him why he did that. She started to feel something very strange. Her strength was losing a lot. Sihu pretended that it was just an accident, not that he intentionally hurt her. Sorry, I was so scared that I slipped. Hearing that, she also temporarily let it go. Seeing the enemy wounded, the monster also took the opportunity to rush out. It was so hungry for meat that its drool was flowing. Just being bitten by its sharp teeth once is enough to meet the ancestors. Alicia was worried, not knowing if she could fight that werewolf. She had the ability earlier, but now she was injured, her body weakened. If not careful, she would become prey to that monster. As for the villain like Sihu, he was very pleased, because if Alicia died in the mission, he would get the legendary Odachi sword. Moreover, after that, he will be able to join Lunia Arden's team, another legendary holy sword. So the bastard's plot was to kill Alicia, so he deliberately poisoned the knife and injured her before fighting the monster. However, he was very surprised to see that the girl still had the strength to fight that werewolf. At first he thought that if she was cut once, she would fall immediately. She was poisoned, but why hasn't she died yet? Or because she is an important NPC in the plot so she will live longer. Fighting the big monster alone, Alicia was about to give up. Her strength to cast spells was also weakening a lot. It's not good. Calm down. Focus, focus, I have to focus. Alicia tried to close her eyes to use all her strength. She must cast a spell to defeat the monster. The longer the fight, the less chance of winning it. Alicia unleashed her ultimate skill, which is the beheading technique. The monster was terrified of the power of the beheading technique and backed off. If it continued like this, it would soon be defeated by her. But Alicia's bad luck was having a teammate like that bastard. He not only did not support, but also schemed. Well, at this rate, she could kill the monster by herself, so my efforts would be wasted. In that case, I have to take action. I can't just stand still. Sihu took out his knife and threw it at the girl to poison her and kill her. With her combat skills, Alicia realized that there was another weapon flying towards her. So she quickly turned around and used her sword to block, causing the bastard's knife to be thrown away, not harming her. Being ambushed like that, Alicia finally saw the truth. He was not unintentional. Once can be joked, but the second, third time is definitely intentional, but I will deal with him later. I have to finish this werewolf first. Alicia approached the monster and raised her Odachi sword. She used all her remaining strength to stab deep into its head. Hit by the ultimate move from the divine sword, the monster's head seemed about to explode. Blood spurted out like rain. It was truly defeated. The female warrior was also exhausted. She was poisoned and used her ultimate technique, so she fell down. Fortunately, the move just now killed the werewolf, otherwise it would tear her apart. Seeing the girl had helped him defeat the enemy, Sihu stepped forward. He pulled the sword on the monster's body. Alicia weakly asked him, why are you doing this? But he didn't care, because he was rejoicing that he had achieved his goal. The bastard's eyes glowed as he held the Odachi in his hand. Haha, here it is. I got you. I didn't expect it to be so easy to take. I heard that this super weapon can only be used with the special skills of the knight, but I will consider it later. Just take it first. Anyway, I will have a chance to use it. Oh right, I was so engrossed in the sword that I forgot one thing. If I kill an NPC, I also get experience, right? Killing this stupid girl, I will get a bunch of extra experience, so it would be a waste to let go. Alicia lay there in despair. She no longer had the strength to fight that bastard. This time she was sure to die. Sihu raised his sword intending to give the girl a final slash. His face at this time was no different from a hellish demon. At the moment of life and death, something flew from afar, a bag full of yellow powder. The bag flew straight into the bastard. It is true that clear enemies are easy to avoid, hidden enemies are hard to guard against. Sihu couldn't dodge this powder in time, didn't know what it was, but it was uncomfortable. His whole body was covered in that mysterious thing. Hair, face were also full, could not be wiped off. What the hell is this? It's disgusting. Who is it? Who the hell did it? Come out, don't hide in there anymore. At this time from the forest, something attacked, the animals with a body that looked like a mouse, but teeth like a rabbit, and the head has a horn like a unicorn. Why are they flocking to Sihu? Because at that time, the bastard was no different from a giant topanic mushroom. This mushroom is a favorite food of forest monsters, and they are covered by a thick layer of powder, so the powder that stuck to Sihu earlier was the powder of this mushroom. This morning Korin picked a lot of them. In the eyes of the starving monsters, the bastard is no different from a delicious piece of meat covered in a special sauce. They rushed to fight each other, some biting at the hand, some pressing from behind, some clinging to the leg. He was surrounded by the monsters and was trying to find a way to escape them. Damn it, get out of the way, you damn creatures, get lost. Taking advantage of that time, Korin ran over and pulled Alicia inside. Luckily she was still breathing, she could be saved. But first, we need to find something to use as a weapon, otherwise, when that guy discovers us later, we won't have anything to fight him with. He stood looking at the monster, and saw that its mouth was still holding a knife. So he ran over to try to pull the knife out. After struggling for a while, he finally got it out. Conveniently, he also broke the fang of the werewolf for good measure. But before he could turn to save the girl, Korin noticed a dark shadow standing behind him. Damn it, how did it come back so quickly? Sihu raised his sword in threat. Who the hell are you? Are you tired of living? Korin quickly grabbed a handful of sand in his palm and pretended to ask him what trick he had used to kill the horned rats in a beat. The odachi in your hand is really great, isn't it? But stealing isn't good, kid. Being discovered with the intention of stealing the odaki, he stammered. Who are you? How do you know? Korin stood up, looking at that nasty brat with bullet-shaped eyes full of hatred. I am Korin. Which Korin? How could you get here? Sihu raised his sword for fear of being attacked. It seems that he doesn't know who Korin is. Well, even if they had traveled together in the past, now is a different life of this game. Surely the character will lose memory of his past life. If so, all the better. Hey boy, you're going to hurt yourself if you hold the sword like that. You shouldn't hold it like that. Sihu, being a wizard, is somewhat unfamiliar with the weapons of knights like this, so when he heard that, he immediately lost focus and looked at the sword in bewilderment to see how he had held it wrong, whether it was dangerous or not. Taking advantage of that moment, Korin quickly rushed to launch a surprise attack. So the handful of sand he had deliberately taken earlier was for this moment. Just throw it until it can't see the road, then we will have a chance to attack, although it's a bit dirty, but that bastard is dirtier, you deserve it. Sihu was startled and got sand in his eyes. He gritted his teeth and cursed, you ambushed me, who plays like this? Then he closed his eyes and swung his sword wildly, to slash at his enemy. This guy is clumsy with the sword, but he swings very fast. If you can't dodge in time, you'll get your head cut off like a joke. Korin thought that anyway. He was still better than him physically, so he had to take a risk. There was no other way. So he also fiercely rushed forward, his right hand holding the fang of the werewolf. Just keep stabbing so that Sihu avoids for fear of being stabbed in his handsome face. That's right, this fang looks like this, but if it stabs into the neck, it will still die as usual. You better dodge, kid. Korin fiercely stabbed from left to right, while deliberately talking to distract the attention of the other guy. You focus on this fang. Just look at this fang. If you're careless, I'll scratch your face. Do you see it's sharp, huh? What would happen if this fang were to pierce your face? Sihu was scared. He took out his sword to defend for fear of being stabbed in the face with the fang. Once this fang stabs in, you will die. Very quickly, Korin pulled out the knife in his left hand and stabbed a deep stab into the chest of that bastard. He screamed a sound that echoed throughout the forest. Surely at this moment he could not expect that there would be another knife appearing from somewhere. Korin's diversionary tactics were indeed effective. Because all this time, he only paid attention to the claw on his right hand. Compared to 100,000 lives that will die at his hands, stabbing a knife is still nothing. Korin raised the claw and intended to give him another stab through the neck. Although it's a bit cruel, but to fight the evil, I have to be even more evil than it. That park bastard is now like a fish on the chopping board, but because of the survival instinct, there's no way he would just lie there waiting to be stabbed like a fish. Blood has already poured out. It's blood from his hand. He used his hand to block the sharp claw in front of him. But at this moment, Korin is on top, much stronger. A hand of someone who has been injured like Sihu can't do anything. His tears have flowed down. At this moment he still doesn't know why that person is determined to kill him like that, while he hasn't had time to kill Alicia yet. Is it just because of stealing odachi? But now there's no need to think anymore, because Korin has pressed hard, with the weight of his whole body, making the claw pierce through the hand, and also pierce through his throat, a tragic death that he has never even thought of. Thank you for everything you've done for me in the past life. We've played this game many times. Have to admit one thing is thanks to you that I have become stronger. Even so, I don't regret doing this to you. Because I have killed the seed of a monster, finally, Korin has done it, has been able to prevent the evil from killing massively in this game. While he was sitting looking at the corpse, the notification screen appeared, and said the game was error because the player Sihu died. the system is calculating the anomaly occurring in the main storyline, then proceed to run the backup command to continue the world in that story. The backup command was successful, transforming the character Corin. The system is testing many factors such as potential, mindset, compatibility, and the player's diary to see if it fits or not. After confirming the new factor is suitable for the storyline, the system starts calculating experience. Transfer the experience of the previous player to the hero Corin, and start running the program for the reserve player. Then, in front of him, the stats window was displayed. He will become the reserve player, AAA level knight, the successor of martial arts. From before until now, he has only been an NPC, has never been a player. The first time seeing the stats window is really different. Suddenly there was a loud cough from Alicia that startled him. Almost forgot to save her. She was poisoned and also stabbed by the werewolf's fang. If not saved in time, she will die. Corin hurriedly ran to support Alicia and asked, "Hey, are you okay? How do you feel?" The girl stammered, "I hurt so much, I can't see anything," although she was deeply injured, but at least now she still has the strength to speak. "It's better." "Hey, do you feel dizzy and can't smell anything, right, and also have tinnitus, right?" Although she didn't hear clearly, but Alicia was surprised why this guy knew all the symptoms she was experiencing. Corin recognized those symptoms, along with this slurred speech. It must be poisoned by the tree frog. That cowardly bastard had poisoned the knife because he knew he couldn't compete with her. Fortunately, the game is only progressing to the tutorial chapter, and still lacks the stats window, so this poison is not very strong, but if this poison is formulated at a slightly higher level, she will die. Indeed, it's fortunate, but the werewolf's fangs are still stuck in her body, so she is still in critical condition. I have to quickly stop the bleeding and detoxify her. First, we need something to block the wound, to prevent it from bleeding. Looking around, there's nothing useful. So Corin took off his belt and tied it around the wound on the girl's back, where Sihu had just cut. "Oh, and comfort her, tell her it's okay, I'm an expert in stopping bleeding and detoxifying, she can rest assured." The guy is also very observant, because in a while when he pulls out the fang, it will be very painful. If she accidentally bites her tongue because of the pain, it will be disastrous, so he looked for something for Alicia to bite to relieve the pain. Looking around this place, he only saw Sihu's body. His arm should be usable, not too hard, not too soft, enough for her to bite comfortably while treating the wound. Consider it a loan. Earlier you intended to harm Alicia, so now I borrow your arm. So Corin dragged Sihu's body over and told the girl to bite into it temporarily. "In a while when I pull out the fang, it will hurt a lot, so you just bite as hard as you can." As he spoke, he took off his shirt, revealing all his muscles with 6 packs in front of the girl. It was embarrassing, but had to endure, all for saving her. Then he used his hand to pull the sharp fang of the monster out of Alicia's abdomen. The guy carefully operated very quickly. Blood started to pour out. Very quickly he used his shirt to press on the wound. At that time, Corin was still pondering about coming back here, didn't know why he came back 3 years ago, and even killed a player, and the person who died in that life was saved by him and is still alive in front of him. In the quiet forest, now only he and Alicia are alive. Around them are only corpses and corpses, whether it's the corpse of a werewolf, horned mice, Sihu's body, and Leon's too. The girl had passed the critical period. Thinking back, I had saved a person, considering the return to the past this time also meaningful. That's enough. After stopping the bleeding for the girl, Corin lit a fire and was cooking something. The water in the pot was boiling, the sound of wood burning crackled, and the warmth of the blazing fire also helped them feel less cold under this night sky. Alicia was resting nearby. She had slept a nap, watching the water cook to where, suddenly heard a cough. Corin turned to look at her and comforted, "Hang in there, I'm making antidote for you. Don't worry, people are not easy to die." Alicia just woke up, still weak, but she knew very well, if it wasn't for this person's timely action, she would have died. Although she couldn't breathe, she still tried to say thank you and even asked the name of her benefactor to repay later. But Corin didn't want to reveal his identity, so he told her she didn't need to know. "Don't think too much, but rest. When the medicine is ready, I will wake you up." He put a warm towel on her forehead and told her to sleep a little more. And think about the future. To be safer, he must act in the dark. The fewer people know about him, the better. Seeing Alicia had slept, Corin sat down to review the upcoming situation to see how it was, although there has been a change in characters. But the plot of the game Hero Legend of Arhan is still true to its name. It is still a story about a hero. While solving the incidents that occurred in the academy, the player will become a hero with the highest mission, that is to save the world. The hero will go through many developments, many different gates, have to defeat countless monsters and finally have to defeat the final boss. No matter how the plot or the character list changes, the player must face the boss. Only by defeating it can they win. So even if the protagonist turns into a villain, a scoundrel like Suhu must follow the plot. Because if they don't defeat that boss, this world will be destroyed. But now that guy is dead, so who will take on that fate? Who else but me, AAA level knight, martial arts heir, reserve player. My role has changed, let's see what equipment has been provided. But isn't it infuriating, these bastards? From now on I will bear the responsibility of a hero saving humanity on my shoulders. And look at what they gave me. What the hell, your system window is not allowed to access. I've tried again a dozen times but the system still tells me I don't have access, it's really outrageous. Can't access the system window then save the world by faith. They made me a reserve player, but I'm not allowed to use the support devices for players. I was very excited to look forward to it but it turned out like this, so boring. If it's as mediocre as this, it's really hard to do anything in the future. Just with my memories of my past life is not enough, I have to use external factors of the system. Only then can this task be completed. But that's not to say I'm useless, because in 3 years of training, I've learned a lot. No longer an heir or a backup. As Korin spoke, he began to draw on the ground with his hand. Initially he drew a circle. And inside that circle were some very strange characters. Suddenly it turned into a circle of fire, glowing as if magic had been blown into it. The guy was excited, just as predicted, it worked, I will definitely survive. The magic I learned in my past life is ancient language, the ancient characters contain extraordinary power within them. Duty, restraint, and oath are known as the 3 ancient command languages. This is one of the powerful laws that govern this world, it is also the source of human power. And the source of destruction, these 3 things will give me the power to become a real hero. So I will engrave it all on my body, so Korin bit his finger to bleed. He used his blood to start engraving those ancient characters. Among the 3 ancient command languages, the first word is duty. The ancient characters about duty began to be engraved. This commandment helps increase the power of the spellcaster. When they swear something, players can make easy oaths to not exceed their ability, such as not eating chicken for example. But everything has its price, if you make too simple an oath, you won't get anything. Almost no additional stats will be received from it. On the other hand, if you make too difficult an oath, players will not be able to follow. Anyway, I should swear something reasonable, to be able to easily follow through, then swear this. Duty is that I will not ignore the misfortune of others, this should be okay. After a while, the system confirmed, your stats will increase when you complete the task. If you don't follow, you will be penalized -10 stats. So that's the first one done, now on to the second one which is restraint. It means that every player always has some kind of restraint or flaw in them. Korin set a limitation for himself that he could not perceive souls. Then he continued to engrave the restrictive ancient language on his right arm. Speaking a bit about perceiving souls, in this world, everything has its own extrasensory perception, including spiritual entities and ghosts without physical bodies. Because spiritual entities can only interact through bilateral connections. They cannot use their strength to affect things that are not sensitive to them. This limitation is considered beneficial to me. But everything has its downside. If I don't comply, I will have to suffer 600% damage from the opponent compared to the initial activation level of suffering non-percentage crystal damage and 50% physical damage. In addition, there are benefits of the entity when complying with the commandment with me. That is, the subject becomes a shield protecting me from all other entities. Having finished 2, and now is the last one of the 3, that is the oath. With this commandment, using the weight of the oath as a backup, it has many benefits. But it also carries a lot of risks. That's why both Suhu and I didn't dare to use it in the previous life. Even that bastard, who could use all the equipment in the system, also had to fail when facing the challenge at the final boss, while I am currently very restricted. Then I also need to worry quite a lot. The heaviest oath to make for myself is none other than I will save this world. That is the noble goal that any warrior wants to pursue, the oath with the greatest ambition. Korin finally completed the 3 commandments. At this point, the notification window, the 3 commandments have been completed, duty, restriction, and oath. All commandments will be applied to the reserve player from now on. At that point, if the player fails to fulfill the oath, then death as a price will be inevitable. Finally, a long night has passed, the sun has risen and shone on Alicia's face, making her startle awake. She opened her eyes wide and was bewildered. Just last night I was in the forest, why now there is a bed, there is a mattress like this. Alicia sat up and still felt pain in the wound. The nurse saw and came to ask, "Oh, you woke up, how do you feel?" The first question to ask in this situation is, "Where am I?" The nurse replied, "You are at Merkaba City Hospital." And the second question is who brought me here, the nurse said. Oh, your relative just left. Hearing that Alicia intended to get off the bed to find her benefactor, then the nurse stopped her. Hey, you can't move yet, stay still on the bed. It's okay, but where are my things? The nurse pointed to the bag of things placed on the table next to her. Alicia looked at the bag and saw the belt was also there, so she wondered, is this the stuff of the person who saved me? The nurse didn't say anything. Then the girl picked up the belt and looked at it back and forth, but saw nothing but a few blood stains still stuck on it. Don't know what the girl was thinking, but her face looked like she was angry. Then Alicia turned to look at the nurse, making the nurse also sweat because of this patient. What else do you need? Is there anywhere nearby selling honey candy? It's weird, just got injured, the wound hasn't healed yet, but she asked for honey candy. The nurse was speechless. Now you can only eat soup, you can't eat indiscriminately. Switch to another scene. It is now 3 days after the novice mission has been completed. Today is the opening ceremony of Merkaba Academy, where if Sihu hadn't died before, he would have come here and trained. Korin had arrived and was preparing to enter. He rummaged through his wallet to find his student card, because only with that card could he enter the school. But after searching for a while, he found a letter in his wallet. A letter? I don't remember putting it in here. Even though he didn't know who the letter was from, he opened it to read first. It turned out to be a letter from his mother. To my son, you don't know how proud I am of you. Try hard and become someone who protects those around you. Oh my, when did she put it in here? But it's so touching. From the beginning until now, I have never mentioned my identity. In fact, I am also a weak ordinary child, also have a family like others. When I first came to this body, I acted very awkwardly and distantly, but they still treated me very well. I started to love my family and this world. That is, the difference between Sihu and me, but never mind him. Now I have to go to the academy. I'm about to be late. Korin had entered the Merkaba Academy. This place was very crowded. The rookies also gathered a lot because today is the opening ceremony. They looked around with awe. Wow, why are there so many ships? At this time, from the corridor on the other side, a beautiful girl with blue hair ran out. In her hand she carried a basket of hot potatoes. Hello new students, gather here. Everyone started to gather, and so did Korin. It seemed that the girl was impressed by the appearance of this rookie boy, so she took the initiative to start a conversation. Hello, you are also a new student, aren't you? You're so tall, you must eat well. Do you want to eat a potato? The girl squinted her eyes, offered Kurin Lok a potato. A potato? How strange, why does this school have a tradition of giving potatoes to newcomers? The gathering was over, the roll call was complete, the students also got on the ship. The ships carrying students to tour the campus. The girl enthusiastically introduced and explained the places the ship passed. Hey, you guys, that's the building of creation, where magic students gather and research, and over there is the physical training room. They lend a lot of great weapons. She is Dunalef, a second-year student, the top of the Merkaba Academy. She is loved by everyone and has a very bright future. Indeed, in life, people will encounter many unexpected misfortunes, and in the future Dunalef will encounter a great misfortune. She will become the final boss of the first screen, but no one knows that now. She herself doesn't know either. After the tour was over, the ship stopped, people lined up and got off one by one. After telling everyone to take a potato and a sweet potato to eat when they get off, Dunalef also left. She waved and said good luck, and see you later. This must be the task the academy assigned her to welcome new students. People entered the large hall of the Merkaba Academy. Other students were touring every nook and cranny. Everything here is strange and magnificent to them. Korin alone found it too familiar. Suddenly from the ceiling of the academy, he felt a magic expansion had begun. Suddenly, all the lights in this area went out, the hall became dark, people were confused. What's going on? Can anyone see anything? What's happening here? At that time a creepy voice sounded. Don't be scared, you guys. Why are the students of the academy scared by this little thing? Don't know if it's encouraging or not, but when that voice rose, Korin saw they were even more scared than before. That's the voice of old Hamen, isn't it? Every time he comes here he says the same thing. It's like a training camp here. Because this world has a history of fighting against the demon race, the most effective weapon to fight them is the superhumans, those who can use aura or mana, and the place to train these superhumans is Merkaba Academy. At that time, the light began to shine, illuminating where the man was standing. It seems that the professor's appearance was well invested. Hello, I am Professor Fermac Damon, a professor of Night Department. I will be in charge of this year's opening ceremony. While the professor was introducing, Korin recognized his face. It had been a long time since he saw this curly-haired guy. Okay, most of you are probably here to become knights, or wizards, right? when you come here, you have already been given a certificate beforehand. We have a rough grasp of your abilities, but also need to verify a bit. So don't be a loudmouth, let me check your abilities. At this time, a blue screen appears in front of each student. On it displays the information, the stats that the student possesses. Korin's screen is the same, but his stats and rankings are indeed daunting. Aura rank is at 680, low, mana rank is at 120, very low, power level 0, very low, and overall rank is 6, very low. It's frustrating, my physical stats are shocking, none of them are high, all low, and very low, really mediocre. It's frustrating, I wonder when I will get high stats. Professor Fermac Damon continued, what you are seeing is your ranking, now everyone move and stand in front of the number that matches your rank. After a few minutes of moving, everyone has settled and stood in the correct position of their rank according to each row. Korin and others stood in row number 6, which is those of rank 6, it's embarrassing, there are about 400 people here, so I'm in the top 1% from the bottom up. Seeing the students neatly lined up, the professor grinned and said good luck, I don't know what trick he's going to use to train us, but it's definitely not easy. The teachers standing inside are observing the students and they also see what the power landscape looks like, the division is very clear. Hey, I see this year's batch has a lot of hidden talents. The bespectacled teacher glanced over and knew that the first and second rank students were all capable students, so she suggested to the department head that later there would be no need to measure their abilities, wait until the evaluation of the low-ranking students is completed. Indeed, the first and second ranks are great, but the teacher said so. Look at the people in the first and second rank rows, they are all outstanding characters, such as Alicia, the granddaughter of the genius swordsman. To Yule, the girl who has a passionate love for Banana Green, a priestess of Avelowin. Then there's Dron Warsky, as cool as a gourd, a mercenary of the swordsmith. And there's also the little golem engineer Chronal Laden, just looking at him, you can see how smart and handy he is. But the most notable is her, the only one in the first rank here, the best among these students. She is the celestial maiden, Waran. Even the teacher was surprised, how could such a talented child enroll? I don't know what the principal is thinking. While she was paying attention to Waran, another teacher was looking at the low-ranking students like us, he even stroked his chin and looked disdainful. Do we need to check the rankings of these rank 6 kids? The rank 5 row looks not so good already, rank 6 kids are all small fry, why don't we just eliminate rank 6 straight away? What do you think? The principal said that all students have the right to study, whether rank 5 or rank 6, there will be good ones in their rank, gradually they will be trained up. Do you dare to go against the principal's will? Feeling uncomfortable because she hit the nail on the head, the teacher decided to start the test. As the teacher signaled, the weapon cabinets began to slide down. In front of Korin was a cabinet with a sword symbol on the outside. The teacher announced the test rules, monsters would flood this place for 30 minutes. During that time, students had to deal with as many monsters as possible, and points would be calculated accordingly. For Korin, this challenge was indeed tough. A test where they put him in an empty place with nowhere to hide, and forced him to fight monsters according to the level of the weapon. But he had to fight anyway. Let's see, most of the grade 5 or 6 students wouldn't think much and just take whatever they wanted. Most of them would take the sword because they thought it was the easiest to play. Besides, holding a sword looked cooler than other things. In his previous life, he did the same. Admittedly, it was stupid, but he wouldn't do it this time. Let's see what monster he would face first. The monster he would have to face this time was a short hunting dog, a level 5 monster. Although it was level 5, they were very fierce and strong. So, what weapon should he choose? The sword was very cool, but there was a saying, it took 100 days to use a spear, 1,000 days to use a knife, and 10,000 days to use a sword. Meaning, the sword was cool but very difficult to use to achieve fluency. So the correct answer he should choose at this time was the spear. Just after choosing the weapon, before he could take a sip of water to prepare mentally, the monsters attacked. Korin quickly threw the spear at them. The first one hit the first monster. Just one hit from him, and it was out. Sorry about that, it's embarrassing. The next two also rushed to attack Korin but probably weren't much more optimistic. When the next 2 hits, he also hit them and made them freeze. 1, then 2, 3, all were down. Past the stage, didn't expect it to be so easy. Do you know why? Because Korin here has had a lot of experience killing these guys. Let's see, 20 seconds to kill these monsters is a bit long. But actually, it's pretty good. Because in his previous life, he couldn't even kill these hunting dogs, and was killed by them in the first few seconds. It was embarrassing. But this time it's different. He would kill all of them until he reached the next rank. Because they would release monsters in turns, after the first wave, there would be the second, third, and so on. Alright, let the next wave come in. So each wave of monsters that rushed in was quickly killed by Korin, and in no time, he had reached the 5-minute mark. But it was boring. Why didn't any attractive ones run in? Why was there nothing like this? Was the system broken? While the grade 6 student was complaining about the weak monsters, one of the professors was standing with his arms folded behind his back, observing the other students. But some were chased by monsters and ran away in smoke, some were bitten in the neck, bitten in the butt. Making the professor shake his head. These kids, if they can't even kill those, what else can they do? In the past, he could kill a few level 5 monsters in just 1 minute and 22 seconds. If level 5 is so pathetic, he doesn't expect anything from level 6. It's really bad. After saying that, the professor looked at the grade 6 window. What surprised him and made him gape was this image. A grade 6 guy named Korin was sitting yawning. The professor was shocked. What's this? The monsters weren't summoned, there must be some error. So he summoned those monsters again, just like before. While Korin was wondering why he had been waiting for the next monsters to come out, he turned around and saw these 3 little ones. It's really boring, it's them again, the game is too easy. So he started to get up and move on. Meanwhile the professor went to observe the other windows, to see how the other students were doing. But the results were not very promising, they were really pathetic. He had been waiting for a long time before he saw someone kill all the monsters, so he was very happy. Oh, this is the first person to succeed. It only took 7 minutes and 22 seconds. I think level 3 would only take 2 to 3 minutes, so what are level 5 and level 6 doing? It's unspeakably bad. As he thought, he turned to look at the level 6 window and was taken aback for the second time. What's wrong with that bastard? Why is he yawning again? Is the system broken? The monsters are always summoned, why don't they run out and attack? So the professor called someone else to check. That person must also be a professor here. The two of them stood looking at Korin. He said, it's broken. No way. For 20 years now, Miss Jose finds experimental magic has never been wrong, but he should have been eliminated a long time ago. It's clear that the monsters were not summoned, otherwise why would he be so leisurely? The tall professor asked, did you see the monsters not being summoned? The other person said, no, I don't necessarily have to see that. This answer made the other teacher puzzled. If you don't witness what happened, you can't say it's a mistake. But the original professor still insisted, oh my god, I told you the system is broken, don't believe me, I will summon the monsters again for you to see. After saying that, he pressed the button for 3 monsters to appear. This time the surprise was Korin. It's them again. Why have they only given me these monsters since then? You guys are not training monsters, eat my attack. Scene 3 Act 1 is reenacted, but this battle is obviously not balanced. Because the ferocious monsters hadn't attacked yet, they were beaten by the new student, only 7.3 seconds to clean up. The 2 teachers gaped, almost fainted when they saw the clock stop at 7.3 seconds. But if there's something interesting like this, you have to call more people to watch, so the 2 teachers turned to the dean in surprise. Look, Professor Fermac Damon, what's going on? What's wrong with you two? So all 3 of them gathered to watch, and turned to ask the man in black glasses, what is the fastest speed you have recorded for level 3 and level 4? He answered, there's a kid named Jaeger who did it in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, why are you asking? Nothing, his mouth said nothing, but certainly not in his head, because the professor's shocked face revealed his astonishment. He must increase the difficulty to test this student. Looking at him being so talented, he must be the son of a hunter, so I will release a level 4 wild boar monster to test, to see how he faces a level 4 monster. But that also didn't make Korin difficult. The level 4 wild boar didn't know how to attack, just saw the teacher's eyes white when he saw the wild boar being beaten by him to a pulp, and defeated in a flash, only 3.7 seconds. Lose this bet, the teacher will set another one. He will not let the challenge be that easy. This time the professor released a bear owl, level 3 monster. Just as it flew out, it let out an intimidating cry and spread its wings to attack, intending to grab its prey back to the nest with its claws. Because it is a level 3 monster, its strength is far different from those of level 3, level 5 monsters earlier. Its wing beat carries the power of a bear's punch, plus the force of a giant gust of wind. Accompanied by a 1,000-pound stomp on the floor, its claws are sharp, capable of piercing the prey instantly. Korin dodged its attack and launched a new move. His spear emitted a large flame. It seemed he wanted to turn the monster into a grilled bear right here. Turns out this skill is ancient magic. The teachers standing nearby also turned their heads to watch in astonishment. Even the initial teacher who looked down on the rank 6 kids like him had to glance and wonder, is it ancient language? How can that kid do it? This move did attract the attention of the professors on the scoring platform. But it didn't seem to have much effect on the plump bear owl. He was quite hesitant, but anyway, it also had another effect. That is to block the monster's vision, so that he could launch a surprise attack at that moment. As expected, precisely because of that blinding fire, the bear owl couldn't see where the prey was. So he took advantage of that to jump up and stab a spear to finish off the monster. This time there can be no mistake, the system is not faulty, because that kid is definitely not a normal level 6 person. The professor wanted to try a few more rounds, but unfortunately the test with the monster only has a maximum of level 3 monsters. The professors were ecstatic because it had been a long time since such an interesting kid came to enroll. They are looking forward to when he fights with the evil spirit, to witness more exciting scenes. So the teachers started the test with the level 5 evil spirit immediately. The evil spirit was released, but strangely, he couldn't perceive its presence. I'm sure something has been summoned, but I can't see or hear it. It must be due to the penalty restriction. I can't perceive the soul. And precisely because I can't perceive it, I can't touch it either. And the evil spirit is also one of the types of souls. If so, it means I can't touch the evil spirit. To see if it's as I guessed, thinking so, Korin closed his eyes and started to perceive around to see if he could perceive anything. And the result is that he counted from 1 to 60 but still didn't see anything around him. It is indeed activated. He has confirmed everything. Clearly this round can't be fought. So the student raised his hand and said loudly, I will give up this test. At the end of the ability screening, the summary of the test with the evil spirit shows, Round 1 fight with level 5 ghost, result draw. Round 2 fight with level 4 evil spirit, not achieved. Final round fight with death demon, not achieved. This scorecard is considered discarded. But it's okay, because on the contrary, the result of the test fight with the normal monster is very impressive. Korin set a new record. Defeated level 5 hunting dog in 7.3 seconds, defeated level 4 wild pig in 3.7 seconds, and defeated level 3 bear owl in 11 seconds. He was very pleased with this result, but surely the professor was not pleased at all. Because he was looking forward to the fight with the evil spirit so much, but in the end, he gave up without fighting. It's really frustrating. This kid, what the hell is he? Why did he retreat like that? It's so frustrating. At this time, everyone has finished the test. They are returning to the main hall and starting to chat. Just stepping out of the exam room, some people did well, some people didn't. The sound of people chatting with each other. Hey, what's your rank? Oh, I'm level 4, but I'm done 4. How about you? Hee. I'm level 3. Wow, so you've killed both a bear owl and a stomach demon? Huh? Hee. The person being praised by the other students is Jaeger. He looks quite robust. Having just defeated a monster, no wonder his face is so smug. At first, Korin thought it was someone else, but it turned out to be that blonde kid. He is the one who started the fight with the main player in this story. And the result is that he was killed by another kid named Suhu just because he had provoked him. Although Jaeger is arrogant and a bit cocky, but it's normal for a young man at that age. But why did I suddenly mention that pervert? It's such a headache. After cheering for the high rankers, now they're mocking the low rankers. The crowd points, look, they're level 5, oh, I bet they can't beat many monsters either. Someone even lost to a hunting dog and a ghost, haha. Korin looks to his right and sees a familiar face. He is Lack, who looks quite shy at the moment. But in his previous life, because he was too complacent, and insulted both himself and Suhu, he also received a similar fate to Jaeger. I say, going back 3 years and seeing people who died in the previous life everywhere, there's really nothing good about it. Suddenly there's a voice from the stage, the crowd becomes silent. Ahem, good morning everyone. I am Director Aryu Kazar, and to become strong, you have joined our academy, where talented people gather. Some of you are already strong, but some still have a long way to go. Although I can't guarantee that you will achieve what you want here, I still hope you can find your own path here. We are here to help you take the right first steps. From the second step it's your responsibility. That's all, have a nice day. After the director's speech, the crowd disperses. Everyone will start a new path, with a starting point corresponding to their rank. And Jaeger is the same. He is very proud to be a level 3 knight, so he keeps showing off everywhere. He's afraid no one here knows his name or something. While passing the stairs, Jaeger glances and sees Lack sitting there reading a book, so he decides to show off a bit. Hey, hello little guy, what's your level? Lack shyly, I'm level 5. So the guy laughs out loud, haha, level 5 huh, that's pathetic, you can't even kill a ghost or a hunting dog, huh, we're not on the same level. Although he hates that attitude of his, but Korin is different from Suhu, probably won't use violence to deal with guys like that, huh. He runs up to put his arm around the blonde Jaeger, while he asks who he is and what his rank is. But Corin seems to pay more attention to the tattoos on Jaeger's back. Wow, your tattoos are so cool, the tattoo artist must be really good, they still look nice up close, and this, the tattoo with the letter B is your blood type, right? When needed, the doctor can quickly determine the blood type and transfuse you if you're injured, right? You're well prepared. For the first time, someone understands the tattoos on his back, so Jaeger is very happy. Wow, you know a lot. Honestly, this is my mom's tattoo. She's a tattoo artist, her specialty is line work, but because I asked, she tattooed in old school style. Do you think it's beautiful? She's really good. Do you have any other tattoos? I'm just pretending to ask, but actually, I already know everything, because in the previous life, when Jaeger disappeared, his mother came to the academy to find her son. She said that his tattoo was not just for beauty, but because she was worried about her son at the academy, in case something happened, he could be saved in time. I remember she cried a lot. Indeed, the heart of a parent always loves their child. Jaeger casually showed off a few more tattoos. Look, I have more here. This is a flying carriage, a symbol of the Merkaba Academy. Cool, isn't it? Wow, it's so beautiful, cooler than a gourd. But let's get acquainted. I'm Corin, and you, I'm Jaeger. Hey, what's your name? Corin also turned to get acquainted with the bespectacled student. Seeing this, he was a bit shy and replied, I'm Lack. So he successfully dispelled the bullying atmosphere just now. All three of them got acquainted and laughed happily together. From afar, a girl stood watching and looked very pleased. So he saved his bullied friend, that's great. He seems to be a good person, and he also looks quite handsome with the longest hair among the male students here. Corin did this for two reasons. One was to rescue Lack, and the other was to leave a good impression on Lark, because Lack's ability is to remember. At this moment, he smiled a friendly smile, but in fact, there was a big conspiracy hidden deep inside, because Lack was holding that book. Hee, I found my free skill book. The girl was still standing from afar watching. He looked cute when he smiled. I wonder what kind of person he is. So the first day ended with a test and making friends. All students have started school. Most of the facilities of Merkaba are provided for free, even the coffee here is cheaper than outside, and the dormitory is also free. Among these amenities, the most recommended facility is the training room. The reason is simple, because when using this room, even impossible training becomes possible. I like this place a lot, because here I can do many things. For example, fighting with spirits, something I can't see. While Corin was diligently practicing fighting with spirits, outside, his classmates, upperclassmen, and a few professors passing by also stopped to watch. Look, that freshman is using spirits to practice. Usually, you have to wait until the second semester to practice with spirits. I guess he heard rumors so he practiced in advance to be sure. Hey, I heard that many second-year students can't even catch wind spirits. At this moment in the training room, the freshman was hit by a spirit. The crowd outside laughed. Look, dare to be strong, huh, serves you right, coo. Corin just stopped to rest, thinking that maybe this level was still too much for him. Then suddenly a bearded professor came over and asked, so you're a freshman, huh? He turned back to greet the coach. The professor asked why he was fighting with spirits, then he said it was because he wanted to practice martial arts. It sounds interesting. The teacher also put his faith in him as he believed in himself. But because of the sudden appearance of the teacher, it made the student feel worried. Why did he suddenly approach me? Was there something wrong with the test? The teacher's face was serious as if he was thinking about something. But a second later, he changed 180 degrees, he grinned, praised Corin, and even gave him a stack of green papers. Your spirit is good, here, I give you 10 meal tickets. When you can do it, come find me, I will have a reward for you, said the professor, turning his back like a Buddha, leaving him in astonishment. It was indeed shocking. He made me jump. I don't know why I'm suddenly worried. But wait, did the teacher reward me with food, giving me a full 10 meal tickets? That's good, isn't it? Well, let's start over. At that time, Dunalev had been observing him for a long time, finding this student very interesting. Although initially it seemed he could not fight the spirit, she had faith in this young man. He would definitely make a difference. He will one day become strong and formidable. However, Corin's current strength is still not enough, so he was beaten by the spirit, finally falling. So tired, sweating profusely, am I that weak? Maybe I should put a cold towel on my face and rest a bit, I can't breathe anymore. As he closed his eyes and breathed, Dunalev approached, holding a glass of water in her hand and asked, Are you very tired? Although he didn't know who was asking, the boy still answered sincerely, Yes, I'm very tired. The girl encouraged, You go rest, you've worked hard. Now, you just need to get used to it. One day you will be able to do it, try again next time. Hearing that, Corin opened the towel and thought to himself. No, I don't have a next time. If I go again, I might have a year or two. Before, there was Sihu, we had a player window, and also medicine and skill books. But now that Sihu is no longer here, I killed him, so now I have to choose to do everything myself. He drank the glass of water and thanked the girl. Then he made up his mind, I have to become the strongest. First, I have to determine my own limits. It might be a bit too much, but I have to test to see how my current ability compares to the past. So he went back into the fight, but this time it was different. He was trying to remember the special moves in his memory and apply them. Like the Python explosion, Tiger whirlwind, control counterattack. To the deadly spin, and even the 1,000-pound throw, it sounds very attractive, but the force exerted is nothing. It's boring. I don't have a strong body, nor do I have strong magic or aura. The experience inherited from information about Sihu and the future is also useless, when facing monsters and these geniuses. But that doesn't mean I'm discouraged. To confront monsters and geniuses, I only have one way, that is to work harder than anyone else. What I have accumulated over the past 3 years will not betray me, right? Every lesson is valuable and I believe that. I have to try again, maximize the power of the spear. Finally, Korin threw the spear straight ahead with a strong throw. At first, Dunalev standing outside thought he had thrown the spear away, and gave up. But not, he had thrown the spear at the spirit. And now he's rushing to grab it. The spirit is quite cunning when it knows how to dodge and wants to escape, but it's not that easy anymore. Korin has aimed exactly at its head, a final move to finish the enemy. The blue light of the spirit shone brightly, it was defeated. At this point Dunalev stood dumbfounded and speechless. My God, the 2 words strong and excellent are not enough to describe this moment. Wow, he's amazing, I can't believe it. A first-year student is amazing, never before has anyone been like this. The girl was admiring his impressive throw when suddenly there was a loud noise. Korin fell to the floor, causing her to run over in shock. Are you okay? Wake up. It hurts so much. I've overdone it. I did win, but I also got beaten up by that spirit. My whole body is numb, like it's about to go limp. At least with this body, I still need to train more. The next day, everyone came to the academy as usual, and today, Miss Dunalev will take the new students to see a few more things. She's like a tour guide here. Hello juniors, today I will introduce the facilities of the school to you. Follow me. This is our school's pride, and over here is the entertainment area. The girl enthusiastically introduced everyone to the tour. As for Korin, he came to school today looking battered from his recent injury. He was eating potatoes, and thinking about his own physical strength. I think to fight properly, the body is the most important. To naturally increase my physique without relying on Sihu's medicine, there's only one way. That is to follow the teachings I promised. Don't ignore the misfortune of others. In front of me is a miserable person who needs help. I have to do something. So the guy ran over to put his arm around his shy friend Lak and suggested they go eat together. But in fact, Korin's main purpose is to invite Lak to find the magic book. Lak is very interested in this, but until now he has not found it, so when he heard this, his eyes lit up. Magic book, simply put, it's just a skill book. A powerful artifact, allows you to get magic, or some characteristic just by reading it. People often talk about the library of Merkaba. It's so grand that it's the size of a normal academy, where knowledge is stored and passed on to future generations. But it's just nonsense, they're lying. Actually, this place is used to hide magic books. As I said, it's not easy to find a magic book in this huge library. Hide a tree in the forest, literally. The 2 of them split up to search, but it seems that before that, they had made a deal. Lak said, you have to keep your promise. Okay, of course, as long as you meet the conditions, you will get the magic book. Korin chose to cooperate with Lak because he is very diligent, and is a model student, the typical neighbor's child. He can remember all kinds of magic, and record it in his notebook, but no matter how many cool spells are in there, it's still very difficult to use them all. If the rank and mana level are too low, no matter how good his theory is, he can't do anything. But once you have a magic book, it's a different story. While honest Lak was red-eyed searching for the so-called magic book, who knows what Korin was doing that he kept dropping books from one to another on the floor. This action made a bookworm like Lak feel very uncomfortable. Hey, stop messing around. Lak was about to tell his friend to respect the knowledge here, then he was startled by something. The bookshelf on Korin's side had been completely dismantled, and in front of him was not a wall, but a secret passage. Then the 2 of them stepped into it. Of course, the long-haired friend would be eager to run in first, while shy Lak would be a little scared. More accurately, he was very scared, not just a little. While it was just a passage with 2 walls on both sides, maybe Lak was worried that there was some terrifying monster waiting for him. After walking a distance, Korin turned back and said it was time for him to fulfill his promise. He had to try his best. Oh okay, you want me to help fight against the evil spirit, right? Let's cooperate. Wait, what do I have to do to help you? Lak asked, but before he could finish his sentence, he was punched in the face by Korin. The bespectacled student fell down, his eyes wide open, not understanding why he was hit, probably thinking that the long-haired guy was a bad guy, like a perverted demon. He fainted, even though Korin came here to save Lark, and also to complete a special mission, but if he could catch an evil spirit here, he would get the hidden piece he wanted. But there's a small problem here. He has to fight against Duke Sabancia. He's not a normal evil spirit, but a special evil spirit. This is an impossible mission. This problem is really big, not small. Why does his luck affect him like this? He's not allowed to catch a normal evil spirit, but the first mission is to catch a special evil spirit. It's so annoying. The old man is extremely powerful, his strength cannot be underestimated. An attack from the commander-in-chief who once commanded the South 800 years ago, will cause most players to lose their lives as soon as the mission begins. But he believes that he is not among them. Because his limitation is that he can't see spirits, so the Duke's attack has no effect on him at all. And of course, his problem is also that he can't see him. If he can't see and can't touch, how can he fight? So Korin negotiated with the special evil spirit. Hey, Duke Sabancia, I'm sorry, but I can't see you. For the fight to take place, why don't you try to enter the body of this guy? He's a bit small, but not bad, then we'll fight each other, although I don't like it much, but that's the only way. By possessing this body, even if there are many different factors in this world, this will be a factor to turn ordinary people into semi-humans like vampires or werewolves. Remembering the old days, on a bad day, Duke Sabancia woke up and became a vampire. He killed his servant. Although he tried to control the vampire instinct, he still failed. Finally, for fear of killing his wife and daughter, he had only one way. That is to take the whole family to live elsewhere and close the city gate, to avoid a massacre. After that, he also used magic to seal himself in a book, which is the magic book in this library. Returning to Lak's body, at that time he was possessed by Sabancia, so he was also stronger and cooler. As soon as he was possessed, Lak aimed straight at him to attack, probably because Sabancia is a stimulated vampire, so it's easy to go crazy. Another reason for Korin to choose the shy friend. That's because when he is possessed by a special evil spirit like Duke Sabancia, he can maximize the potential strength in himself. Although he is an exemplary student, the son of others in the legendary hero story of Arhan, but Lak has the lowest physical strength index, very low. Although he loves Lark very much, this is the best strategy to complete the mission, because Lak is thin and weak, so when Sabancia enters, his strength is significantly reduced. In no time, Korin had defeated the opponent. He thought if he killed Lak while being possessed by the soul, what would happen? Of course, he could get the highest level item, such as the Duke's cloak or vampire armor for example. They are all high-quality items that Sihu used to use. It plays a big role in the future event. But I'm different from him, I won't do that. Earlier when fighting with Sabancia, Korin had touched the soul and the remaining love for the family in him. Just as he was about to attack, he asked, "Aren't you curious about your wife, Duchess Luina, and your daughter, Duchess Cecilia? Then how they lived after you were sealed?" Hearing this, Sabancia seemed to wake up. So that whole evening, he didn't have to fight hard, he just got a dry throat telling the story of his family. How his wife died after leaving the castle, and how his child became a talented explorer. How she traveled around the world. The action mission turned into a very touching conversation. Korin didn't like Sihu's previous approach, because as someone who also has a family to love in this world, this would be a good way, a gentle death to reunite with the old man he loved. He wanted to let this pitiful soul die decently and voluntarily. And finally, Lak woke up. Korin also recounted the whole process when he was possessed. About how Lak rushed to bite me, to the conversation with Sabancia. Before he ascended, they talked for a long time. And what Korin got was the epic of the ashes of the evil spirit Duke Sabancia's soul. The second is the magic book Grimoire, the book that once contained the sealed soul of Duke. Inside are abilities and spells. If you read it, you can learn the magic in it. At this point, the game system announces that you have received a new ability. You have used the magic book. More specifically, the persistent warrior rebirth is a warrior who never loses the will to fight. As long as you are determined, your body will continue to recover. This ability is something that the bastard Park used to have, but I don't know how much it can recover because he has never been really injured. As for Lak, he is really pitiful. Just being possessed by the evil spirit will cause a headache. But I heard people say, besides a headache, it also hurts the chin. So you should be quiet for a while. The more you talk, the more it hurts. I have this for you. Lak was surprised because Korin gave him a magic book. He was overjoyed and thought he was dreaming. Can I really take it? Looking at the way he joyfully accepted the book, I also felt happy. Because the final reason I chose him for this mission is because sometimes I want to see how a person strives to receive the deserved reward for himself. He deserves it. So Korin completed the mission, that is the commandment not to be indifferent to the misfortune of good people. In addition, he also completed the mission of Duke Sabancia, with a difficulty level B, receiving a reward of 80 points. A number of points he dared not think of, because in this game, every time you level up, the player will receive 5 stat points, so this number of 80 points must correspond to being promoted up to 16 times. Korin still has many doubts about the reward he received. But for now, he has to carry this little guy back for treatment first. While returning, the stat reward notification appeared. His 80 points were evenly distributed for 2 times, not indifferent to Lak's misfortune and Duke Sabancia. This is indeed a good thing. Switching to another scene, today, in the physical training room, Senior Dunilev has a guide for the first-year students, but it seems the beginning is the familiar potato invitation of her. Thinking that no one would eat, but surprisingly, the new students liked the potatoes so much, they each raised their hands asking for a portion. Korin stood in a corner and warmed up. Seeing this, Dunilev ran over to ask, "Are you planning to catch a spirit again today? I believe you can do it, I will cheer for you, keep going." Seeing that kid being cared for by Miss Dunilev made the students jealous. How can a first-year rank 5 kid catch a spirit? I've been trying hard but I also failed yesterday. That rookie kid keeps attracting Dunilev's attention, it's annoying. So they started betting with each other. The girl was sure the kid would succeed, while the others didn't believe. Why are they using me to bet? I just want to train. But never mind them, I have to focus. I have a stat from helping Sabancia ascend, so I'm sure I can catch it easier, but now I don't even know how strong I am anymore. So just try from the weakest basic ones first. The technique I used to defeat the spirit before was the snake's crawl. Among the snake paintings, this technique is very difficult, so use the most basic move among the basic moves, is the python burst. Probably one hit won't be able to take them down, but the truth is unbelievable, one move of Korin's defeated the spirit. The jealous students earlier stood gaping, oh my, just one move, has his python burst reached that realm? Even the owner himself was stunned and couldn't believe his eyes. Dunilev was also no less surprised. That's amazing, yesterday you shocked with 3 moves, but this time you only needed 1 move to defeat it. Korin wondered, surely she had witnessed everything yesterday, but what I don't understand is how a mage can see snake paintings with the naked eye. She has an overly sharp vision. Right after that, Dunilev stuffed a bag of money into the face of the first-year boy. Here's yours. Thanks to you, I made some money from them, so I'll give you a share. Do you like it? Of course, who would refuse money? You're both beautiful and smart, keep it up in the future, we'll split the money, ha. The next night, Korin walked alone down the academy corridor. He was walking, eating potatoes and thinking about his past life. In that life, I fought hard to hone my martial arts, now it's the same, I'm about to reach the 5th step in the 6 steps to enlightenment. The road is long, but my martial arts progress faster than I thought, so I'm less worried. The problem is the ancient magic language, I'm always short of mana. In my previous life, I couldn't fully practice, because the ancient magic language requires a huge amount of mana. If I can practice, I'm sure I'll be much stronger than in my previous life. I should think carefully. As Korin was walking, he heard a girl calling him, but with a disgusting voice. She is the top-ranked, Waran. No matter how much I hone my martial arts and master the ancient magic language, the bastard I can't beat is already in this academy. She is the only woman, even Sihu can't kill, is one of the strongest forces in the legend of Arhan's heroes. The notorious balance breaker, the extraordinary Daxoa Waran. Why did she suddenly appear here, and also talking to me? I don't know why, but just ignore her, I can't touch her yet. Korin closed his eyes and walked away quickly. Then Waran said something that startled him. You have been merged. I don't think you are the owner of that body. Hearing this, he started to get goosebumps and a chill ran down his spine. Why does she know I've taken over this body?